This week we have an amazing guest with like 1 billion stories I want to break out today. Julie Swenson has been through a lot of things, a lot of crazy adventures, a lot of crazy fun. Julie, you've done video in the mortgage industry. You've done, all these things. You kind of work out now. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to get into a lot of things. So first of all, thank you for coming to join me.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Kirk is dying right now because he so badly wanted to be in this interview. And he's been in so many of the podcast episodes, but he's teaching next door, so he's missing out. But I get to ask you all the crazy questions. So
very cool.
First of all, you and I met in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where you first officially met. You and 𝗙𝗎𝘂 and Tracy was there.
Yes.
And was the first night we met the night we did the psychic?
I don't know if it was the first night,
or was it?
But it
was that trip,
probably
right?
the best night of my life.
So I'm telling our guests that are listening and you guys who are in the room, we met at this conference in Vegas, and then it was me, Anthony, and the three of you, and we found at this hotel we were at, there was this psychic, like almost like a pocket, like you kind of a place in the
like
a
little
wall
cutout.
Yeah. And they had books and they had this curtain, and so we went back there and we're like, we should try and tell people's fortunes. And so you guys went out and got people to come in, and Tracy and I would sit there and she was reading their palms, and people believed it. It was the funnest night ever.
That was so much fun.
And that was when I knew I had made new best friends.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I had met you. All I knew at that point is that you guys were great loan officers. You work out of the mainly Seattle, Tacoma area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I knew, but I knew that you were awesome, like from that moment. So let's kind of start early on, because I don't want to start with the fact that all the things you're doing right now. I want to start with the beginning. You grew up in Montana.
I did. 𝗟𝗲𝘀𝘀𝘀, Montana.
Okay. How many people live there?
I have no idea. Not
It's
very
small,
many.
right?
Not very many, but it's like the Twilight Zone.
What do you mean?
Because I meet people that know about 𝗟𝗃 all of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it up near
It's
Canada
crazy.
or is it?
Yeah, it's about 35 miles from the Canadian border.
Okay.
Yep.
So you were born and raised there?
Yes.
Wow. And you got out.
I got out.
So
not a great story about how I got out, but yeah, I got out.
yeah. Do you want to tell the story about how you got out?
Oh, I met the high school quarterback and got, pregnant and moved out here
Wow.
to Washington State. Yeah.
So that was you went straight Montana to Washington.
I did. Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was in a senior in high school, and that's when I had Jazz, and I got married right after I graduated in '88 when I was 17, and moved out here 2 months later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You were 17.
17.
And I think every parent listening now is like, if my 17-year-old, like, we would freak out right now.
Yeah.
But
wow. It was crazy. Yeah.
And so you started a life. Who did you know out in Washington?
Well, that's another whole story. But my
we're here to tell stories.
My kids' dad and my ex-husband was always told his real dad had passed away.
Okay.
And found out that he didn't pass away.
What?
Yeah. He lived out in Auburn, Washington. So that's how I got out here. They met.
We're gonna slow this down.
We moved out there.
So you are in 𝗟𝗃𝘀𝘀𝘀, Montana. Was he in 𝗟𝗃𝘀𝘀𝘀, Montana?
He was, and then he moved away. He was like the rocker dude. All the girls wanted him.
Of course. We all know that guy.
High school quarterback, all the things, right?
I think Kirk was that guy.
Yeah. And so he came back, and I was, of course, in high school, and I met him, and we just started dating, and
wow.
Things happened, and
so, and then you married him.
I married him.
And then you're like, where do you want to go? And you guys went to Auburn to find his dad that he...
Yeah. Well, my mom actually found out about his real father still being alive, and kind of set that whole thing up because she was trying to find like the history for my baby to see about health things and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it
back
was
then
pretty crazy.
This is like early
87.
So no internet.
No.
Your mom just did the hard work.
My mom, she's very good at snooping.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's so next level snooping.
Yeah.
So she finds out dude's still alive.
Yep.
And he's like, and so you moved there?
They actually surprised him. So he worked at
what a great surprise.
The high-end restaurant in Montana, in 𝗟𝗃𝘀𝘀𝘀, if you can call it high-end, but it's the Duck Inn, and he was working that
The Duck
night.
Inn was the high end.
Is
okay, gotcha. It sounds very high end.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a steakhouse that we have there.
Yeah.
And she had him show up one day and had him sit down at the table, and my ex-husband walked up to him and here's your dad. And that's how it all happened.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was, yeah. Looking back, not great.
Right.
But yeah,
But it ended you in
it got me to Washington. Got me out
Washington.
of Montana.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So did you raise babies for a bit? Did you find a job as soon as you hit Washington?
I did. Shortly after, I worked for an
Mhm.
advertisement agency in downtown Seattle,
Okay.
driving my 79 Camaro
Oh,
on
goodness.
4-lane highway, 5-lane highway for the first time, going down one way is the wrong way. Like, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm
big
used
city
to,
life.
yeah, it was totally crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're raising, so you have two,
2 kids.
right? So
Mhm.
you're raising them. How far are they apart in age?
3 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how'd you like step back up and go, okay, let's, figure out work? The advertising agency obviously was a good step. And
Yeah.
then how do you get from there? Walk me through from there to when you found this crazy industry we work
To
in.
mortgage. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I don't even know. That's been so long. I ended up getting fired from my first job.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Uh,
You're going to make me tell this story? You don't have to tell anything.
well, I mean, yeah, I did. I would show up with black eyes way too many times.
Oh, no.
So it became a problem. I was a receptionist. So yeah. Yeah, it was tough.
Wow. Gosh. And you're
Yeah,
just
the high school
feeling that.
quarterback didn't turn out to be so great.
Right.
So,
It sounds like it.
yeah.
But that's fireable offense?
It was, yeah, because they were high end.
What?
It was a high end advertising
You weren't
agency.
putting
and I
the
was
black
like
eye
front
on.
desk.
You weren't like, let me get ready for work and painting black eyes on your face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you could fire for that now. It just
Probably
feels
not.
like
That was
that's
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at what point did
Yeah.
you walk away from that?
We got divorced in 93.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then new life, ready to go. You have both
New
kids.
life. He moved to Australia with his girlfriend. He actually disappeared for like 9
Wow.
years, which was great. A blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And then I started working, I think, for materials testing in Auburn
Mm.
in Danielson Company, which is fishing tackle.
Okay.
Kind of done everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep adding things too.
Yeah. Well, that's a long time ago. So
I know.
pops
And
up. Oh, yeah.
no, I mean, now you're still doing more things, but
Oh, yeah.
so you've got, how old were the kids when he left or when he moved away?
Jordan was 2 weeks initially, my
gosh.
youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're too young to have a lot of impact from that. They knew mom and that was
Yeah.
you were their rock.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he came back every once in a while before he moved to Australia, but so they knew him.
Right.
Yeah. And they know him now. So he's,
Okay.
yeah.
But you're kind of doing it on your own, figuring it all out for
Yeah.
yourself and your 2 kids. You're newly divorced. You've got a
No
life to figure
money.
out, no money. So you just scrapped.
Yeah.
When you think
Yeah.
back to that, do you think, wow, yeah, I really did great things? Or were you like, I can't believe I made it through?
I cannot believe I made it through.
Wow.
I made $1,200 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. Daycare, rent, food, everything.
And you
Yeah.
just covered it and figured it out.
Just figured it out. Yeah.
Is that just something you've always done? Like, I'll just
Mhm.
figure this out?
Yeah. Still to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Friends wise, were you able to find some friends that understood you or that could walk life with you back then?
Mostly work people because I really didn't have an outside life then because it was really
You're super
work.
busy.
I worked, it took a long time to get to work, pick up kids at daycare. By the time we get home, it's 7:38. You're making dinner,
Mhm.
getting them to bed, just get up and do it again. So really didn't have much of a social life back then.
Right. I think a lot of people would have moved back to have her.
I considered it.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's not a lot there. And my parents actually, so when I decided to move out here after I got married, my parents sold their house and moved out here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my sister.
So there was nothing there. Your parents were here. There was nothing
Yeah.
back there for you to.
Grandparents and
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
But yeah, my parents came out here to be with me. So
Wow.
yeah.
So you go from job, figuring jobs out,
Mhm.
trying to make enough to survive, raise the kids. I imagine your bond with your kids became very strong
Oh yeah.
early
we're
and
very
just
tight.
stayed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they just became, it was mom and the kids and tackling life.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have you always been in that same area, like where you are, kind of that Tacoma, Seattle?
I've moved everywhere.
Mm.
I don't even know how many times I moved. Like every other year we moved.
Oh, wow.
So Kent, Auburn,
Mm-hmm.
Maple Valley,
Mm-hmm.
Tacoma. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how do you find the mortgage industry?
Interesting. I love it. There's times I hate it.
I mean, how did you find it?
Oh, how did I
Yeah.
find it?
You went
Oh,
advertising, you went,
actually through Palm Harbor Homes. I started working for a
okay.
manufactured home company in '96.
Wow.
And I just did everything there from the financing, operations, working with sales, everything. That's how I got into it.
And then from there to other finance, like straight mortgage at some point.
Yeah. Another guy that worked there, the sales guy, he went to go work for Eagle Home Mortgage
Mm-hmm.
and told me that I need to go over there. So that's really how I got the real start in mortgage.
And you jumped
That
over
was
to Eagle,
like,
which is a great company.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. How successful were you at the time? Like you did everything at the manufactured home company. And so you were kind of doing it all. In mortgage, did you kind of come out strong? Because I know you've been a incredibly successful producer in mortgage as long as I've known you, but
Yeah.
was that like immediate for you?
No, it wasn't. It was really tough to get going. But I started buying leads,
Mm.
and that helped everything. So at the
Okay.
time I was just doing leads, and then those leads just became repeat customers and referrals, and it's kind of how it all started.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up a conversation I remember you and I having. I think it was in Tacoma at a restaurant. And there's like 4 of us there. And I that was when I realized you didn't know how awesome you were.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I don't understand. Like, this is so strange to me. And I think I've dealt with my own imposter
Yeah.
syndrome over the years. And I think I've defeated imposter syndrome. Like I feel like I belong in the role that I'm in now. And I feel like I belong in the room. But I fought that like crazy myself. And I think that's why I noticed it in you. I want to dive in a tiny bit to that, in that you were successful, but you didn't look at yourself and go, I'm pretty amazing at the time.
No.
Was it, I want to know, like, were you looking at, I've just got too much to do to think about that? Or were you looking at it like, I'm just trying to struggle and this is really hard? Like, where did that come from?
I don't really know where it came from. And I still kind of have it.
Hmm.
Like, it's just nothing seems good enough. Like, I always feel like there's another level,
Mm-hmm.
and I just haven't made it yet.
Wow. Is that what drives you?
Yeah, it does. It's not so much anymore, but it still pops up for sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of what it always is. It's like, I'm just not good enough. Because especially in this industry, like there's so much competition. Numbers are always out there,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't hit those numbers, it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just as smart or whatever, all these things go through your head, and it's tough. It's a tough
Yeah.
industry when there's a lot of comparison, a lot of competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting because one of the things that got me through my imposter syndrome was interviewing CEOs to find out that they have problems.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, you're a CEO, like you're kind of I put people on pedestals. And then when I started finding out everybody's been slightly broken or is slightly broken, or I remember I sat down with a guy one time and I said, he's a CEO of a company, or he's an executive at a company. And I was so nervous to have the meeting, and I sat down with him and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And like, I knew him, but I was so intimidated by him. And he was traveling a lot. And we started talking about traveling. He's like, dude, it's a lonely world. Like, traveling is lonely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, it is. Like, we found this bond where I'm like, I bond with somebody, like we both have similar things. But before that, it was like, but he's so much better than I am.
Yeah.
And so you're still in that spot, back then, and it sounds like still dealing with it, of like, okay, but I still need to achieve.
Right. Yeah. Because I have a lot of goals and a lot of things that I want to accomplish. But I totally agree with that, because the more I put myself out there, the higher level of people that I meet, and their stories are incredible. Like, they don't just make it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you hear how broken they are, maybe they're still broken.
Mm-hmm.
You look at them, you have this high level of respect for them, and still the respect, but you just think, oh, it must be so nice to have all
Yeah.
that. And then you hear their story or their marriages or whatever, and you're just like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I think that helps.
Yeah.
Sadly, it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. I mean, it totally does. But like, I guess that,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, I'm not the only crazy one.
But the assumption that they don't is weird.
Yeah.
Like that we initially assumed everybody was just perfect above us and that's what we were
Right.
trying to be. I know you're a David Goggins fan,
Love it.
right? Talk about your journey you read a ton
Yeah.
and you're constantly learning. Can you talk about first of all, it sounds like you're doing that because you always want to be better, but what has that done
Right.
for you? Because I know you make major changes based on books you read.
Yes. Yeah. The first book that I read, I think that I made the most changes was Relentless
Okay.
by Tim Grover.
Mhm.
𝗟𝗲𝘀𝘀𝘀 gave that book to me,
Oh, nice.
and I ended up getting divorced. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
there was all kinds of things that happened after I read that book.
Yeah.
It totally changed my life, and that's when I really started like, okay, there's more to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I read all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much information, free information to a point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to buy the book, but there's just so much information in there, and whatever it is, health, business, personal development. I don't read fiction. I
Mhm.
think it's kind of a waste of time for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get into that, but yeah, that book totally changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just telling somebody today, I read a fiction book every time I take a vacation, like a real
Oh, okay.
vacation.
Yeah.
And if I don't finish it by the time I get on the plane to come home, I just put it away.
Yeah.
And I pick it up next time I go
Boring.
on vacation because that's the only time I let my brain stop.
Right.
Otherwise, I've got podcasts to listen to. I've
Yeah.
got books to read. I've got Audible has been such a gift because
Yes.
I can go through books, on 1 1/4. And with some books, you kind of want to read them just because I want to write all over them and really take those words off the page and
Yeah.
figure out, what they mean and take notes all over them. But so that was a big piece for you was reading and then implementing.
Yep.
Do you remember? I would imagine you remember the feeling you had when you were reading that book where you're like, like these light bulbs going off.
Oh yeah.
And how did
Yeah.
you take? I know it's a weird thing to ask, but how did you take that from? Okay, I just learned this in the book. This book has given me the ability to do some things that are difficult for me or that I've put off doing. How long is it from that book finishing to you making decisions that are different for your life?
Probably within 6 months
Mhm.
or so.
It just sat with you, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, because
Okay.
it also introduced me to other people like J.𝗵𝗺 Forcier. Like
mhm.
it just through that book, Dan Keller.
Yeah,
Like there were so many people that started coming into my life, and I just started
Mhm.
seeing again another level.
mm-hmm,
It's like, wow, I need to level up my life. I'm not happy.
mm-hmm,
I'm not going to be great. I'm just going to stay at this good level forever, and that wasn't enough. So yeah, it was.
Isn't it funny that Dan Keller was like, I just met Julie. Like we think of how cool it is to meet people who are like, I can't believe I just got to meet you. Because that's happening in people's heads, whether you like it or not, that they're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I just got to meet this person.
Crazy.
But for you, you're thinking, I just got to meet this person.
Yeah.
That's kind of the funny part about running in bigger circles
Right.
is that you have these conversations. Like, I can't believe that I even got to have that conversation. And they're thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It would be weird. I'd be at conferences and people would be like, are you the home loans chick? I'm like, yeah, back when I went by that. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Why did you start that? I mean, I know the home loans chick, like the persona.
Persona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you go and do that? Because that was when you started doing video, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, okay, what am I going to call myself? The whole branding thing,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And I did that for a long time. I still have the email, but I quit doing it because I had a realtor call me and he's like, if you want to work with high-end clients, you can't use home loans chick.
Really?
It sounds biker-ish. And I was like,
Biker?
yeah, like a biker babe.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, oh, okay, I never thought about that. So I ended
Wow.
up stopping doing that and just used Julie Swenson team.
So you went
Yeah.
from like this fully branded thing to where like, oh yeah, good point. I guess I'll stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did people ask you why you changed?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Because you had already
Because
established
people
your
still
brand
would call
and
me
it was
and I
still
wouldn't,
you. and-
yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't be like, no, that's not me anymore, of course.
Were you
Yeah.
scared to do video? Most people are scared when they start.
I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Why,
I used
what made you do it?
I didn't really do it on mortgage so much. I started doing it on books that I was reading
Mm.
and I would do a book review.
Mhm.
And then, but I was using Snapchat filters
Yeah.
because I didn't like the way I looked.
Oh my gosh.
So I would use that. And a friend of mine, Jean, called me out one time and he was like, that doesn't even look like you.
I love Gene.
It's like,
Good job for calling that out, Gene.
what? So
Yeah.
it kind of changed the game a little bit, but
Wow.
that's what got me comfortable. But I remember like one of my first podcasts, I was sitting up in my office or standing by the window for the lighting, of course, right? And I was reviewing a book and this bird came right by and just shit all over my window.
No way.
And I looked up and I was like, oh, a bird just shit on my window. And I went back to talking. I was
No
like,
way.
I'm gonna keep doing it. Another time one was flipped over. I couldn't figure out how to, for whatever reason, when I would link it up to LinkedIn, it would flip over. So it was upside down. But I would get so many comments on it.
Yeah.
So I just left it.
The bird one was like a huge hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. People don't want to do video. They're like, it's got to be perfect. And it's like, it's so much better when it's not.
Yeah. That's what I realized. I mean, flies will fly in front of my face and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a video. My son and I do these burger reviews. And we did one. It was like the third review we ever did. We're sitting in the car doing the review. And a guy walks by. Was it a nail in his head? He had, it was when the body, Andy, what's that called? When you change the body, you like, people put like neon things inside their skin. I don't know why I thought Andy, our producer, would know, but people like do stuff to their bodies. And this guy had like a nail in his head or something like that. And we're talking about the burger. And I'm like, is that a nail in that guy's head? And my son's like, that's a nail in that guy's head. And like, leave it in. Everybody wants to see that real life happens while you're shooting your videos because that's normal.
Right.
And if you wait for perfect, or if you cut that, you miss out on all the laughter that would have come from people going, did she just get, wow.
Yeah. I love to leave the funny stuff in.
Yeah.
I feel like it just makes me more normal and more down to earth. And that's what I want people to see. Like the real me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hide behind everything's got to be perfect. Because I kind of feel like I've had that perfection disease forever. And it's like, no, I just want to be me.
Yeah. Did you find that would help you build when you went and met with people, they kind of recognized you or had a different way of viewing you because they had seen you, like the TV effect? I saw you on TV. Like, did you find people going, oh my gosh, I just saw that video you did on this and that type of feedback?
Yeah, I think it was just more like normal conversation that I could have with people and laugh. Like, I don't know.
Do you do people reach out from some of those videos and has that been helpful for business? Like, are you seeing actual business come in from it?
It used to. I don't do them very much anymore, which, I always say I need to do them again, but I don't do them as much anymore. But yeah, it did very well back then. And I think a lot of things I do now bring back in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that video is so interesting in that when you stop, like Andy, our producer Andy's sitting over here. I'm sorry I didn't do a Friday update video for you last week. I do a Friday update video every week and I get it to Andy and he produces those. And I missed one and it's so dangerous because people will follow if they know what to expect. And if they don't know what you're going to do, then they'll basically stop paying attention to it. And it doesn't take many weeks of being off for that to happen. I was listening to a Blazer podcast. I'm a freak Blazers fan. And this morning I looked, I dropped one in because we're back in the season now. And so I looked at one and the guy starts by saying, every weekday, Monday through Friday, I'm on here every morning. And this morning I was like, okay, well then I'll listen. Yeah. But if I know I can count on it, I'm going to listen. Yeah. There's another Blazer podcast. You just never know when they're going to release one. And so it's like, I don't know when to look.
Right.
So it is important that consistency happens.
It's huge. Yeah.
And then you stopped. Why did you just not do it one week and then it went from there?
When I do them, I like to be alone and it got to a point where I wasn't alone all the time. So it just kind of started going away. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how quickly a habit can go away and how hard it is to build?
I miss it. I love doing them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But also like if I say I'm going to do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like then I got to do it.
Right.
If I say I'm going to do it, I got to do it.
Yeah, just making the statement out loud and saying, especially if you say it on social media, because then you're like, now everybody will know that I failed at this.
Yeah.
It adds that pressure in that's like.
Accountability partners everywhere.
It is everywhere. It's a world of accountability partners. So you built the habit, you kind of let it go, you've built a little bit back. As all of this is happening, something totally changed in you. You stopped drinking.
I did.
And did you stop drinking and start working out at the same time, or were those two separate things?
Two separate for the most part. I've always worked out. I've always been into health, not to the extent I am now.
Nobody's to the extent you are now.
Yeah.
So it's rare. Yeah.
It kind of all started. I went to a sales rally in Scottsdale for Andy Elliott. And at his sales meetings, everybody that works there has to be in shape. Like you have to have abs or you get fired.
What?
They all wear the same clothing. I mean,
Is that legal?
it sounds crazy. I know.
Yeah.
They probably don't actually fire, but you have to be in shape. Like it's a prerequisite to be healthy there.
Wow.
And it was just world class. I mean, if I had a piece of gum wrapper on the table listening to like Bradley talk or whatever
Right.
that was there would be someone there within 2 seconds picking it up. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
And I got home and I was just sitting there, and then I think that was like on a Thursday night, Friday night, I pour my tequila and I'm like, what am I doing? So Saturday morning, I was like, I'm going to do 75 hard. I'm going to go 75 days, see what happens. And that 75 days, it was supposed to end like right before New Year's Eve. So I was like, I can't wait to have a drink New Year's Eve night. And then I didn't. And then I didn't the next day or the next day. And I may have gone to wineries, bars, everything.
Wow.
Nothing. Yeah, 2 years was yesterday.
2 years.
Yeah.
So that was just a life change that happened because you went to this conference and you're like, why not? I think I'll try this thing. And then that thing just kept going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. Best gift I've ever given to myself.
I keep hearing
Hands
that from
down.
people and I'm like, but bourbon. I do like
I know.
bourbon. And
Trust me. I still have tequila in my
I
cupboard.
know. Oh my gosh. So you
And
didn't
there are
just pour it
days
all
that I'm
out.
like,
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. I
What-
still have all my wine fridge is still there. My
Uh-huh.
wine. I've really good wine and champagne, and I'm like, why did I not drink that before I started?
I mean, you
this
could have
job?
brought it down here. It's aging
could
well
have,
at this
yeah.
point. And I'm sure we have people in this team that would have taken care of that for you.
Yeah, kind of kick myself for that one.
If you are watching this podcast and you're in the mortgage industry and you haven't checked out the Knowledge Coop, you definitely need to dive into the Knowledge Coop. In there, you will find content and community that will help you grow as an individual by learning everything there is to know about the mortgage industry. If you think you know everything, just dive in and take some classes because there's always something more you can learn. To be successful in this business, you've got to continually learn. In addition, if you're a company and you want to teach your people in your own environment, we've got that in the Knowledge Coop Enterprise Services. So reach out to us, check out knowledgecoop.com. Definitely join Coop Plus. Let's get back to the podcast. Okay, I have to know this because this is like a new trend, I feel like, where
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people on Facebook talk about how great they feel after stopping drinking.
Yeah.
And 2 years is awesome. Like, I'm so proud of you. That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Did people treat you different? Did you not get invited out as much as you used to?
Totally different. Matter of fact, I feel like I lost business partners from it because you
Really?
can't go to happy hour, or they don't think you can go to happy hour. People assume that,
Right.
oh, she's not going to do anything, which is totally wrong. Like I've been, like I said, wineries, everything. It was fine. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I can sit there with a glass of club soda
Right.
and look like I'm doing it.
And a lime
but I
and
don't
a
even care about that
rocks
anymore.
glass or whatever. And
It's like, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And bartenders, it's so interesting because bartenders, they love making mocktails.
Really?
They get super creative. And when you ask them if they have like a cool mocktail, they're like, they just get this smile on their face. Like, I do.
Mhm.
What do you want? I'm like, just surprise me. And they always look more beautiful than any
Really?
of the other drinks. Yeah.
So
Tons
did-
of sugar.
Oh yeah. So
There's
you
that.
saw you were treated a little differently. You weren't
Yeah.
invited to the same things.
Yeah.
Was that offset by? Was there any of you looking back on your old self and going, "Why didn't I do this earlier?"
Oh, yeah. Had I known, I would have done it years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think I would have done it years ago. I think you have to be in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's something like people ask me, I get emails, Facebook messages from people. Yeah, it kind of makes me want to cry sometimes. Wanting
You
to
can cry on
stop,
the podcast. It's
wanting
okay.
to stop, and
Yeah.
they don't know how. And I always wonder, I'm like,
Wow.
well, are they reaching out to me because they're like, well, if Julie could do it, anybody can do
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's
I always
awesome.
think that. I'm like,
I mean, maybe there's some of that.
Those who know me, yeah, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Because I love to drink. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that I would have been ready back then.
Mm.
And I don't know what made me really ready this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do AA, I didn't do any of that. I just did 75 hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that I started noticing my body changing through that.
Mm-hmm.
The discipline, all of that. And I just felt better.
Can you? 75 hard is something we see people post probably as much as we see people post about their CrossFit gym and about how vegetarian they are.
Right.
Can you explain 75 hard to people so that they know what that is?
Yeah. So it's 75 days commitment of doing a list of things. And there's an application that you can get on your phone
Okay.
and it reminds you. And then if you fail doing your tasks, then you have to start all over. Like you can't miss a day and you can't miss a thing. So there's 2 workouts, 45-minute workouts a day. One has to be outside. That was interesting because I started in October.
Oh, in the Northwest.
In the Northwest. Luckily, I had a treadmill on my deck, which was covered, but
that counts as outside.
it was still outside.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, it wasn't fully, it just had the roof over it.
Yeah.
But it got really cold.
Yeah.
And there was one time where it was super smoky. And so on the group site, I was like, it's really smoky outside. I can barely breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then start over.
They're so hardcore.
It is hardcore. There was no
They want you to die of lung disease. Like
I was like, but I have asthma.
Yeah.
I did it. I did anyways. It's like 45 minutes. Goes by fast, but.
What day were you on when the smoke came in?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't remember.
Oh, but you were like somewhere.
Yeah. But I'm not, I mean, it
wasn't like day 4.
I'm not missing out on that.
So you went 1 to 75 your first time?
Yeah.
You never had to reset?
Nope.
Isn't there reading? There's reading involved?
Yeah. 10 pages of reading, the 2 workouts, a progress photo every day, no diet, or you have to be on a diet.
Of sorts. It doesn't give you a specific
it doesn't matter,
one.
which I eat pretty healthy anyways, so that wasn't hard. No cheat meals, no drinking, of course. Trying to think what else. Journaling. Yeah.
The journaling and the reading sounds great. The rest doesn't sound awesome. Wow. So you committed to it because of that. You just didn't miss.
Yeah, I didn't miss. Even I went to Georgia and for a conference, and another gal just walked with me. I just made it happen.
Do you know people who haven't been able to finish that 75 yet?
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend didn't, which I was like, really? Like,
did you start together?
No.
Okay.
No.
But he wasn't able to. Wow.
No. Lots of people. I mean, I think life gets in the way, right? I mean, it's just me.
Yeah.
So I don't have the kids. I don't have all of that to take care of.
So you can fit it in.
Yeah, I can fit it in.
So you get your 75 hard happens. You're not drinking. That leads to more not drinking.
Yeah.
But like Forrest Gump with running, you were like, if I'm going to work out, I'm going to continue to work out. At what point do you decide you're going to do this like as a thing?
Yeah. So after 75 hard, I decided to go back to my gym. And the trainer that I had is a mom to a trainer that I used to have in the past. And this lady is hardcore. She used to scare me. I'd be like, I'm never going to train with her. She scares the shit out of me. And then, but she was the only one available. And so I started training with her, and she does competitions. She just became pro last year. She's a badass and a very cool lady.
What's a pro?
She got a pro card.
What's that mean?
That means that
I know with the PGA what that means, but I don't know what it means with the
that means that you are at stellar level.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a long time
Full
to get
stoke.
your pro. Yeah.
You got okay.
Yeah. Which I'll get one day. We'll see.
Wow.
That's the goal. But yeah.
So she has that level. You're training with her.
I'm training with her. She's always talking about competitions. People are always coming up to her that's training with her. And I was just like, one day I was like, what does it take to be a bikini competitor?
Oh my God.
And she was like, I was hoping you'd ask me.
No way.
Yeah. Her and her son had talked about it. And, she kind of always brought it up. And then one day I was like, well, I guess I'll try it. And that's how it started. And I worked with her all the time and did my trainings that she would give me and competed for the first time in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you super nervous?
It was weird. I didn't feel nervous, but when I got up on stage, my legs wouldn't stop shaking.
Wow.
I felt like I'd been on stage forever. But my legs just wouldn't stop shaking. Like I wanted to literally grab them and be like, stop, I can't.
No way.
You're gonna fall over. Yeah.
What is it? And it's not like, is it like bodybuilding where you're pushing up weights at this competition?
No, you're posing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's just like a results reveal
right.
kind of a thing. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. With a lot of girls who are in really good shape.
Dang.
And being 53 at the time was like, it was a little intimidating.
Is that age bracket like, so
Yeah.
my great aunt is 90.
Hmm.
We just went to her 90 birthday party in Colorado.
Yeah.
She just won the Boulder, which is a 10K, but she won in her age group. But she doesn't mention
That's
the age group when she
crazy.
says she won. She just says, I won the Boulder.
That is so cool.
So your age group is not that old. So are you competing against
Yeah.
people that have been doing this their entire life?
Depending on what you do. So you have an opportunity the first time you ever compete, you can go into novice. And that's when you're on stage with all of the first time. It doesn't matter if they're 20 years old. It doesn't matter if they're 80 years old.
Whoa.
You're on stage with
Competing
all the
against
girls.
21-year-olds.
Yeah, the only thing that you're on there that determines where you're at in that level is your height.
Wow.
So yeah, I was up on stage with much younger.
Oh
It was
my
a little
gosh.
intimidating, but I got 5th place.
You did?
I did.
Just kill those younger kids. Just
Like whatever. No.
wow.
No, it was great. It was so cool. Yeah. And then 50 and over was the age group that I competed in.
What'd you get in that?
3rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was cool.
this is wild. So you're doing loans.
Uh-huh.
You're doing mortgages for a living. You're at the gym how often?
Every day.
Every day for how many hours? Is it a lot of hours?
Depends on the day. Usually 3 hours a day. On Saturdays, it's usually about 5, but that's also posing included on Saturdays. We have posing class.
You have posing class?
Yeah.
I want to go to posing class. I bet with the right pose, I could make myself look pretty spectacular.
It is crazy. One little movement of your toes can change everything.
What?
Yeah. It's really
Wow.
cool to watch. I love watching people pose.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a thing.
It's a thing.
There's a whole world I don't know. So,
It's very cool.
wow.
Yeah. Intimidating. And it took me forever to learn my poses. It's 4 moves. I'm like, why can't I do this?
Well, and going back to imposter syndrome, I mean, you went from look at all of them to now you're one of them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it was almost easier than it would have been had it been 20 years ago for you. Like you've come a long ways
Oh,
to now
yeah.
you're a lot more confident
Yeah.
to go try things out like that.
Yeah. And I'm not so worried about looking silly. I mean, I looked like a robot when I first started doing it.
Oh, really?
I was like, can I do Mr. Roboto? Like, can that be my song?
Totally. Turn that song on and
I'm just
rock
be
it.
like, "Arr." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really tough. It's easier now, but it's still, I mean, the people, like, they just had Olympia and you watch these girls pose and it is like, they're just so graceful. And
Is Olympia, is that like,
that's the big one.
okay.
Yeah. That was just in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are there guys and women in the same show?
Yes.
Are they all doing, or same, is it a competition? I don't even know
It's
what
a
this is called.
competition.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it depends on which one it is. It could be a couple days. It could be one day.
Wow.
The men always start and then bikinis always last. So you're not getting on stage. You're in your hotel room all day with your feet up.
Doing push-ups and throwing down some
Eating,
lunges.
taking
And
pictures, to sending to your coach. She's telling you to have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter or have some
What?
asparagus. Like it's all science. It's insane. Yeah.
dang.
It's very cool.
Are you allowed to be on steroids for these competitions?
Mhm.
Okay, so that would be better for me. I think I would need that to be able to
are.
compete at this level.
Unless you're in natural.
There's a natural
and then-
division?
yeah. Then there's
Gotcha.
unnatural.
Unnatural division? And that's where the dudes are
Yeah.
like Hulk
And women. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. So are you where you want to be?
No.
So you're still on a quest.
Oh yeah. I'm doing my 2nd show coming up. As I was saying, I'm on a cut right now. So I feel
I'm
a
surprised
little-
you've lasted this long in the podcast.
I'm
If
surprised
you
I made
pass
it through the
out,
drive.
We should have gotten a mat to put behind you.
I was like, I wonder if there's a place to pull over to nap on my way home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Energy levels are down. Food is down. It's brain fog.
Yeah.
Like it's tough. The cut's tough. But I'm only, I think, 18 days away. from
You're
my
cutting
next
for the next
competition.
18 days,
My next competition is in 18 days.
but you won't cut all the way from here to then.
Oh, it'll get, yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, it goes way down. Yeah.
Long-term effects of this, are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
this isn't doing something that long-term your body's going to be like, I needed food 3 years ago and you didn't give that to me. It's
Yeah.
okay?
It's so interesting. I feel like I eat more now and healthier now than I ever have.
Okay.
Like when you're bulking, you're eating a ton of food. I went
Right.
from doing like 230 carbs to I'm down a day to, which I never even ate carbs. I was afraid of carbs.
Uh-huh.
And that's a huge myth. But they won't make you fat if you're doing the right things.
Right.
Down to 100 right now. And I'll probably get down to maybe 40 in a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, fat will go way down. That's the biggest thing is just losing the your fat macros
Hmm.
because you need that to think straight.
So just for the listeners, chips and guac are okay, is what Julie just said. Those are carbs, right? Did I do that right?
Carbs and fats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get both of those
Yeah.
when you're
Well,
bulking, but not when you're cutting.
yeah. I mean, you have a cheat day. When you're bulking, you get cheat days.
Okay.
Yeah, which is
Wow.
nice, but I don't really like them because you don't feel good. When you're eating healthy for so long
Hmm.
and then you have a cheat meal, it's not so fun.
It doesn't make you feel very
No.
good. See, I do cheat meals every day.
No.
3 times a day. They say 3 cheat meals
But
a
you do
day
push-ups.
keeps you healthy. 41,000 push-ups this year so far. So I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It is funny though, my correlation to push-ups, I joked with Julie on the way down. I said I had to do 41,000 push-ups just to sit in the same room and not look dumb. But it is funny what that's done.
Yeah.
And I've only completed this project once, and that was the 67,950 push-ups a year. And this year it's 71 because of the leap year.
Oh, yeah.
And what people don't realize is, in fact, who wrote that book? Success Magazine is...
Is that John Gordon?
No. Oh my gosh. Everybody listening who knows this guy is now like saying his name out loud in their head.
I'm trying to think. I know I get the emails, but I can't.
It's basically the power of 1 and then 2 a day and then 3 and then 4 and then 5. It basically all adds
compounding.
up. It's compounding. Yeah. The power of compounding. So the compound effect is what the book is called.
Oh, Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy. Thank you. Oh my God. I knew you would know it. So the compound effect, I read that and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And my buddy Shane called me. He's like, dude, we want to try this thing. And so we did it together the first year. But what's fascinating is everybody can do 1 push-up. Everybody can, right? Knee or no knee, you could do it. 1 push-up. And everybody could do 2 push-ups the next day. And the next day you could probably do 3. And when I started it, I could do 14 in a row and that was it. And then I would fall down and not be able to get up for a while. And so, but after you've done 5, it's easy to do 6.
Right.
After you've done 10, it's easy to do 11. And we're on 290 something right now. And I could not have done that many push-ups in a day, except for that yesterday I did 1 less than that. And the day before that I did 1 less than that.
Yeah.
But as soon as you back off for any period of time, going back to your video story, as soon as you're like, this is what I'm doing and I will get it done.
Yeah.
The video is harder because you didn't have a long-term goal, right? My long-term goal is to get to day 365, 366 this year. But what people don't know is because of February 29th, that adds an extra push-up to every single day, and every single day that compounds so that by the end of the year, you're at 71,000.
It's crazy.
But what's weird is watching, and people... I don't encourage anybody to do this because we've had people drop out for shoulder injuries and stuff like that. Yeah. There's a way to do it right.
Yeah.
My brother gets on me because I don't pull, I just push. And so he thinks I'm going to like be like this by the end of my life.
I was just like, get back.
I do need to do some pull exercises, but it's fascinating because it's a goal. And when you're working towards a goal, everything else feels better. Like,
everything.
Yeah.
My whole life feels better.
Right.
Like I feel like I walk differently. I show up differently, internally. Just I'm proud of myself. Like I'm doing things I never thought I could do. I'm lifting things I never thought I could lift. I keep track of all my weights and they go up and you're just like, wow, that was like, what was my like heaviest lift is now my starting weight.
Yeah.
If that.
Right.
Like now I'm just like, yeah, what am I thinking?
Right.
And then my coach is always like, do you want to add to that? And I'm like, is that a question or a demand? Like, I don't feel like you're asking me. So I just add. And people are like, how do you do it? And I'm like, you just don't think about it. It's all mindset. We are so much stronger than we think we are.
Yeah.
So much stronger. Like the push-ups, it's just mindset. Your body will react. You tell it to. It's capable.
It's all mind.
Yeah.
100%
Total mindset.
Yeah. I always tell people the way you do this many push-ups is when you think about doing push-ups, you do push-ups.
Right.
If you think about it and don't do them, that's a bad habit. Once that starts, you're on your way out.
I totally thought that last night. I was sitting there at dinner. I'm like, it's just me. I could do whatever. No one would even know.
Right.
But I would know.
And most people succumb to that.
Yeah.
Most people are like, yeah, I guess I'll give in.
Like the food.
Yeah.
I have some cookies out in my car that I hand out when I go to meetings. I'm like, I could go grab a cookie right now.
Oh my gosh.
And nobody would know.
My daughter works at Crumbl.
Oh God.
And I picked her up at the airport last night. She was in California and I pick her up and she's like, let's go visit Sam, who's my other daughter. not my official daughter, but we've
Uh-huh.
kind of had her in our family. And so we go to visit Sam at 𝗟𝗏𝘀, and Avery walks in and she's like, what kind of cookie do you want? And they have blueberry muffin, which is my favorite 𝗟𝗏𝘀
Ooh.
cookie.
I've only had one.
Oh, so good. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have a blueberry muffin cookie. Well, they bring me one and I'm like, I'm going to eat this after dinner. And then I'm like, but it's warm right now. I
Right.
literally swallowed that cookie like Shaggy and a Subway sandwich. Like the cookie was gone. And my daughter turns around, she's like, where'd that go? And I'm like, dang it. Like, it's so easy to slip, especially when it comes to food, and just be like, well, just this one thing isn't going to cause a problem. Same thing as like when you were talking about, it'd be great to have a glass of tequila. I don't think having a glass of tequila for you is a great thing, because that can make you go, well, that was really cool.
Right.
And then that becomes a second, and that becomes a third, and that becomes a habit.
That's why I don't do it.
Right.
That's why I don't do it. It's not that I don't want it. It's not that it doesn't look fun.
Right.
It's just I know that I can't just stop at one. Like, oh, okay, well, I just had one before, so I can have two now.
Yeah.
Eventually, someday, maybe. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I know too much about alcohol now. I know how unhealthy it is. It's literally a toxin. I know it's fun. I've had really a lot of fun with it, but it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And I always think of, I had a coach one time, she was like, her name was 𝗟𝗀𝘀𝘀𝘀, and she would be like, one of the things she said is when she makes a decision, she always asks herself, what does 10 o'clock tomorrow, Tara, want to feel like? And that's one thing that I've used a lot. What do I want to feel like tomorrow? And it takes a long time to feel good. Like, I thought I'd feel like a rock star. Quit drinking, I'm going to feel like a rock star when I get up. That was not the case.
It wasn't right away?
No.
Wow.
No, I felt better, but it takes a long time for alcohol to get out of your system.
Really?
Yeah. I've heard like for one drink, it takes about 6 months to get out of your spinal cord.
Oh my gosh.
One drink.
Out of your what?
Your spinal cord.
Drinks stay in your spinal cord?
Stays in your body.
What?
Yeah. I don't think people understand how hard alcohol is on your body.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting because you watch like Keith Richards and some of the Rolling Stones, and you're just like, how are you still there? Like, but you see them, you're like, you're very much alcohol worn.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting. You didn't stop because you found that you had a problem and you couldn't stop drinking, and so you went to AA. And we've had guests who have experienced that. In fact, a guest we're interviewing Friday is a counselor for people to get off alcohol. For you, it was just more like, let's just try this thing and then see, which I think is super cool too.
Yeah.
Because you could go back and it's not like, oh, those times when I used to wake up in the middle of the street in a big town getting almost run over. You don't have those memories. You've got memories of, oh, it's super fun.
Yeah.
But still for you, you're like, I'm going to make a different decision.
Yeah.
So patterns, we always look for patterns in people's lives. Your pattern has been, I'm going to achieve. Okay, what will it take for me to achieve? Okay, let's do that. Now we're at this level. Cool. Now I kind of want to be different here. And so I'm going to achieve and then be at this level. And so that's just always been a thing for you.
Yeah. I have the vision of where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's just, how long is it going to take? And what do I need to do to get there?
Parenting, same. I know you parent hardcore.
Parenting was, I was so young.
Yeah.
I was so young. I didn't know what I was doing.
But you figured it out.
They're great kids. I have amazing kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just kind of keep same thing. I know who I want to be as a parent.
Yeah.
I know who I want to be as a loan officer. I know who I want to be in these areas.
Yeah. And I'm a much better parent now. Like the respect that my kids have for me and my parents, it's just, that's another reason why I won't.
Yeah.
Because they look at me differently.
Yeah.
I want to be the example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter just looked at me doing my push-ups. She's like, Dad, you're inspiring. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. Like,
is she doing them though?
Next year we're doing, I can't remember what we're doing next year. We're going to do one together. But my wife did the sit-up challenge and my son did the sit-up challenge. They both did that same thing. But it is good to be a role model and to not fall back into the easiest, possible thing. It's read hard, work hard, play hard. It's still fun. And then figure out where you want to go and go there.
Right.
What a life.
Right.
Amazing.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should write a book.
You should write a book. Oh my gosh.
I thought about that.
Super inspiring. If somebody hears this and goes, man, I just want to do some of these things, how would they find you out there in the world?
All over social media.
Not the home loans chick.
Not the home loans chick. Julie Brown Swenson on Facebook.
Okay.
Julie Swenson, mortgage broker. on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not sure what TikTok is.
I know. I'm still struggling with that. I started an ADHD CEO TikTok channel, and I only did like 8 videos and stopped because I have ADHD. So they were great videos, and then I just stopped doing it. The last question for you, and we ask this of every guest.
Okay.
Knowing what you know and the life that you've lived and all the adventures you've had and all the things that you've done, if you were walking up in Havre, Montana, and you saw 10-year-old Julie on the playground, and you got to walk up to 10-year-old Julie and give her one piece of advice based on everything you know, what would you say to her?
It's so funny you asked that. I actually have that girl on my phone.
I
have that girl on my phone. I have something to cry. A picture of myself.
You do?
On my phone. Yeah. Because I look at it. It's on my desk too. Because I would just tell her that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Just keep moving. Just keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Why do you have her on your phone?
A retreat that I was at with my old coach, 𝗟𝗲𝘀𝘀. We had to bring a picture of our old selves and write letters to our old selves.
Oh, no, I'm going to cry. That's such a big deal.
With the wrong hand, with like whatever hand you don't normally use. And so it looks like kids writing. It is amazing. It is an incredible experience.
I'm so going to do this.
It's really cool. But you can't write with, like, if you're right-handed, you can't write right-handed. You have to do your left hand because then you'll look like when you're a kid. Yeah.
How long is that letter?
She's on my phone. She's on my desk. Like that little girl who just thought she'd be married in the white picket fence and married forever and all these kids. That was my life.
Yeah.
So.
How long's the letter?
Just a page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because your left hand was getting super sore.
Because it looks worse than
yeah, totally. Like I can't read it, but I remember I wrote some killer stuff.
How am I supposed to even hold a pen? I don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would say. Just, it's gonna be okay.
That's a huge thing to say to that little girl.
Yeah.
Wow. Julie, thank you so much.
Oh,
Kirk definitely missed out on this interview.
Yes, he did.
And I appreciate you driving down for this.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Awesome.